Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC fight night. It is what quite possibly the most quintessential fight night. Like, this is the very definition of a fight night you could possibly have. It's one of those things where you're kind of like, man, why do I watch this? But then again, also, it's free, and I like UFC, so why would I not watch it? What else am I going to do on my Saturday afternoon? Or night, evening, whatever the case is. It's a fight night. We have some fights. We have some good fights, and we have some fights that I just don't think should be made. Regardless, let's break it down. First, coming off actually last week, I just want to say a few things about last week. I did very good last week. I did very good, but I gotta say, man, Jesus Christ. Once again, a hype prospect gets absolutely fraud checked. And once again, we have someone turn back the clock. I'll talk a little bit more later about this, but this is becoming a little bit too much of a trend. But oh well. Let's break it down. First fight is going to be Vanessa Demopoulos versus Emily Ducote. I don't like this fight at all. I'm going to be honest with you. This fight's kind of meh. Meh. Demopoulos is pretty mid, and Ducote is pretty mid, honestly. A lot of people are not really having a lot of faith in Demopoulos, and I can see why. Her track record is honestly not the best. She has some pretty mid wins against Murata, and then anyone that's a solid or good fighter she fights, like JJ Aldrich, Lupita Godinez, or Carolina Kolokejek, she loses to. Her only real wins is a win against Jinyu Frey. Like, that's like her best win. But then again, we're picking Emily Ducote in this, and I'm gonna pick her go decision, but it's not like she's much better, to be honest with you. She beat Jessica Penne, which is okay, but she's kind of like the same thing. Also lost to Lupita Godinez and Angela Hill, who are the best fighters that either of these two have fought. I'm not gonna even go into detail on it. I think the over 2.5 is going to be your best bet. Be wary. Women's MMA, I'm sorry, but a lot of times it does lead to dog or pass, but I don't like Demopoulos. In this case, she's a dog. I do not like her at all in the spot. Altenheli, I always struggle with his name. I've discussed it multiple times with Champ. I still cannot say his name. Versus Clitson Rodriguez. Altenheli is one of the worst, not like worst fighter in the UFC, but he's one of the worst fighters that somehow keeps going. Like, how does he keep winning? He doesn't really do anything well. He is super low volume. His grappling is not that good. He keeps winning. It's really weird. Yeah, he lost to Chris Gutierrez, and Chris Gutierrez is pretty solid. But other than that, Kevin Kroon, Chad and Helliger, like, those are okay wins, I guess. But I don't know. He just doesn't really do much. He's super inactive. Clitson Rodriguez, on the other hand, super good striking. I really like his striking. He's very powerful, very technical, but his grappling is zero. Farid Basharat was able to easily submit him. And then his only win beyond that within the UFC is against Shannon Ross, who, if you don't know, Shannon Ross is who I unanimously declare the worst fighter to fight in the UFC in the last 10 years. I truly believe that Shannon Ross, a win over Shannon Ross does you nothing. Like, I talk about the Dawkins brothers and Josh Fremd and Jeremiah Wells. I talk about those guys a lot as, like, honestly negative if you fight against them and you don't starch them in the first minute. Yeah, Shannon Ross is somehow even worse. 4 fights in the UFC. No, 3 fights in the UFC, 1 fight Contender Series. He lost every single one. So Clitson Rodriguez, his striking has been showcased against someone like that. Doesn't really tell you much, but I just think I'm just going to pick Clitson Rodriguez just because I think his striking is better than Altenheli's, and I think he's actually going to strike. He's actually going to do anything, but make no mistake. If Altenheli wants to grapple, he has an easy path to victory. So not a high confidence, but I'm going to go Clitson Rodriguez by TKO. Pierre Rodriguez versus Ariane Carlos. I just literally listened to a video pronunciation. The jacked woman. The woman who is probably way too jacked. I don't like this fight. Why don't I like this fight? Not because of the women's fight, but because one of my biggest gripes, as you know, is layoffs. These are 2 massive layoffs since their last fight. I believe 2 to 2.5 years. Yep, just over 2 years for Ariane. And then 1.5. Nope, just a little over a year for Rodriguez. But I'm gonna get back to my tyrant, or my little rant I mentioned earlier. What is with these fighters turning back the clock after year layoffs, after long layoffs, or being really old? This year, fighters just have been looking too good. What's the common denominator? USADA is gone. I don't want to be the guy to point fingers and say stuff, but in no world should Mateusz Rebecki get destroyed by CDF. CDF put on the best performance of his entire career at 39. OSP at 40 put on one of the best performances of his career. I love Jose Aldo, but coming off a 2-year layoff and look like that, all of those somewhat excusable just because of the level he fought, and when he left the sport he was still good, but still, like, I don't know. And we have a poster child here. You see those biceps? See those? Yeah, they're even bigger now. They're even bigger now. I still think Rodriguez is going to win by decision just because I think she's a better fighter. That's all I'm going to say. I hate that fight. Abus Magomedov, the fraud himself, versus Warley Alves, I'm sorry, he's not that good. Warley Alves is a guy who's also old. I was about to say, he's not that old actually. He's 33. I thought he's older. He's been in the UFC for a minute. He's been in the UFC for a while. I remember his fight against Colby Covington. That was 10 years ago, basically. Jesus Christ. I thought he was way older than that. He was young. Okay, whoever the case is, Abus Magomedov got heavily fraud checked, honestly. Like, yeah, he lost to Sean Strickland, and yeah, Sean Strickland became the champion after a great performance, whatever. But he was just knocked out by Sean Strickland. Who the hell is Sean Strickland knocking out? Brendan Allen on short notice. Abus Magomedov, and that's really it for like the last 10 years or so, whatever the case is. And then Caio Borralho just dominate him in every aspect. I think Abus Magomedov, he was just too overhyped, honestly. I do think he's very good as a finisher. He has really good submissions ability and he's really good striking ability. It's just that his cardio, gas tank, and fight IQ are just not at that level. But I think it's definitely at the level of a Warley Alves. Warley Alves is just not that good. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. 2 out of 3 of those fights he got finished. How the hell did you get finished by Jeremiah Wells? Yes, Jeremiah Wells has finished him. And then in his most recent fight, Ikram Aliskerov showed him the levels is. Ikram Aliskerov, I think, is a very high-level fighter. Like Ikram took him out in 2 minutes. That's how you should fight against Warley Alves. Abus Magomedov, I don't think he's going to take him out in 2 minutes. I do want to lean towards the finish. I definitely think he can get the KO in Warley Alves, but I don't think it's going to be quick. I think it'll probably be rounds 2 or 3. Those are definitely some props to look at. But yeah, give me Abus Magomedov by TKO in a very Tamaris Vidal versus Melissa Gato is relatively short notice. I believe Vidal is the one stepping in on short notice. Don't quotate me on that. Whatever the case is, this fight is very fresh and there's not a whole ton to go off of. Vidal, she's just okay. She ran into Montserrat Rendon and had a split decision. I thought it could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, it was just a very basic women MMA fight. Meanwhile, Melissa Gato is on a 2-fight losing streak against Lipsky and Tracy Cortez. That was on the Gaethje Oliveira card. I saw the card live. Yeah, she's not that good. Simple as that. Both fighters are just relatively mid in terms of competition. All I'll say is Melissa Gato is a little bit more of a finisher. She does have a few KOs and submissions underneath her belt, while Vidal is generally taking it to submission, at least her time in the UFC. I think she only has one finish, 1 decision. I thought she had more fights in the UFC. Let me look up. Yep, I'm correct. I just don't think either fighter is going to have really much finishing upside against each other, because once they got to UFC, just ended up not being the best. Whatever the case is, decision, I'm going to go with Melissa Gato. Victor Martinez versus Tom Nolan. Easy. Tom Nolan should take this out. Tom Nolan had to slip up his last fight because he was going up against a guy who only has power. That's it. He went up against a power puncher who otherwise is absolute garbage, which is Nicolas Mota. Other than that, he's solid. He is furious. He can go all 3 rounds. He's got KO power. He's just solid everywhere. Victor Martinez got knocked out by Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt going, I finally got a knockout. Yeah, that's no. Tom Nolan, he's got to run through him. If like I have to be a confident pick here, I got to go with Tom Nolan. But man, minus 440. I'm just scared about those heavy favorites lately, man. But Ducote was like minus 500, and he shouldn't have lost. By no metric, he should have lost, but CDF turned back the clock. Oh man, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Tom Nolan. I'm pretty confident he'll get the KO, but also there's always crippling anxiety gnawing at my throat. Luana Pinheiro versus Angela Hill. I don't generally like picking the older veteran, especially one who at one point was getting close to tying up her wins and losses in Angela Hill, but she's a veteran. She has, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd highest like striking numbers in the UFC. Yes, in terms of total strikes, I believe it's like Holloway, her, and then GSP, which is insanity. But Angela Hill is a decision queen. She's got no submission upside, but man, she will definitely take your decision because she doesn't have power. She has overwhelming volume, but no power. Even if she were to lose this fight, I don't think she's getting finished because she's extremely durable. Luana Pinheiro, she's okay. She's okay. She's got pretty good jiu-jitsu that she doesn't use nearly as much as she should, to be perfectly honest with you. Other than that, she's just okay. Just okay. She's really fallen in love with her hands, and it hasn't been working out very well for her, to be perfectly honest with you. Getting brutally KO'd because she fell in love with her hands when she should have been grappling. And honestly, if she falls in love with her hands, she's going to get killed by Angela Hill. Angela Hill is going to piece her apart. She is going to be relentless. But at the end of the day, it's going to go to a decision. So give me Angela Hill by decision. I'm pretty confident in that. The odds are pretty close too, which is pretty solid, honestly. Yeah, I'm comfortable minus 135 for Hill. I'm very comfortable with that. Plus money decision, sign me up. It's make or break. It's make or break for Adrian Jannis. Taking on Vinicius Salvador. Adrian Jannis was a guy I was so high on. I imagine my face when I was in Miami hyping him up to all of my boys. We were watching like some fight compilation, him knocking out Davey Grant, Randy Costa, Tony Kelly. And then we watched him get pieced up by Rob Font. Yep. And then I said, you know what? Against my better judgment, I was like, Jonathan Martinez, I think he could do it. I think it's going to be hard. I think he got TKO'd by leg kicks. Adrian Jannis has proven to be a one-dimensional boxer, and that's all he has. And he can be outboxed if you have a better jab than him, which Rob Font has one of the best jabs in the game, and say goodbye to Jannis. He got pieced up by Rob Font, knocked out by him, and Rob Font's really not knocking anybody out nowadays, so oh, it's just insanity. But Vinicius Salvador, I believe he's coming up in weight class, I believe, or he's either coming up or going down. But yeah, he's coming up in weight class. He's not good. Not good at all. His only win not even in the UFC and Contender Series is against, guess who it is? Shannon Ross. Yeah, you don't get anything from taking Shannon Ross into the 2nd round. Beyond that, he has fought in UFC caliber opponents outside of the UFC, but he didn't win. So I think this has got to be for Jannis. But if there's any sort of doubt in the back of his mind or anything, because I can feel like he might be mentally shaken up or something like that from like those crushing defeats. But if he comes in how he normally is and knowing that his job's on the line, he should knock out Salvador probably in the 1st round, to be honest with you. I know it's hard. He's hard to get knocked out. He's really only been knocked out by Filio outside the UFC, but I'm gonna go Jannis. I think he should knock him out in the first couple rounds. Themba Gimbo versus Ramiz Barramage. Ramiz. This is so hard. I went so back and forth on this. I'm never a guy who bought into the hype of Themba Gimbo just because he had a nice win and then the rock bottom is home. But then again, I've been burned on him. I picked Pete Rodriguez and he butchered him. Takashi Sato, I think I picked. I just don't like how he lost to AJ Fletcher. But then again, he could have improved. I don't know. I'm not confident on this at all, to be honest with you. Ramiz, I think, is pretty solid, but he did get beat up by Court McGee and Max Griffin. This is the first time I'm going to do it. Forget it. I'm just going to go with Themba Gimbo. I want to lean towards some decision for him, but he has been looking hot. He knocked out Pete Rodriguez pretty easily, so Themba Gimbo by KO might be okay. He's more of a submission guy, but still. It's just Ramiz I don't see getting submitted, to be honest with you. Ramiz is either getting... No, he really only loses by decisions, now I think about it. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say screw it. Give me Themba Gimbo by decision. I think he'll win it by decision. I don't know. And now for the co-main event of the evening. Chaos Williams versus Carlston Harris. I don't like Carlston Harris. I don't like his fight style. I don't think he's that good. I don't want to be hard. I don't want to be super harsh on him. I'm just not a big Carlston Harris guy. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed by his wins over Jeremiah Well, Jared Gooden, Impa Kasanganay. That's a very good win. And then beyond that, he got absolutely bodied by Shavkat Rakhmonov, as you should, in the first round. Chaos Williams was a guy I was super high on. It was really in the pandemic era where he knocked out Alex Morono, and you're like, yo, Alex Morono getting knocked out? What? Then Abdul Hassan knocked him out. Yo, Chaos Williams is the real deal. This guy's got power. And then Michel Pereira, just boring fight, actually. Michel Pereira put on a very boring fight against Chaos Williams, but he overall just schooled him. And then he didn't, even though he was winning, he didn't look great. And then we watched him get beat up by Randy Brown. Split decision, I know, he dropped him. Whatever the case is, he lost. He just didn't have an answer for Randy Brown's pretty boring style, to be honest with you. Saw that fight live, unfortunately. And then Ronaldo Bedoya, he just drew everything in the kitchen sink at that guy to a point where we thought, oh, Bedoya was good. Like, I was like picking Bedoya in his next couple fights because I was like, yo, his next fight, not next couple, it's just one fight. And I was like, yo, this guy's pretty solid. He's pretty good. Chaos Williams fought him to a decision, split decision even. And he looked awful in his next fight. So I was like, maybe Chaos Williams I was overrating. Whatever the case is, I think Chaos Williams got power. I think he can knock out Carlston Harris. I don't think he's going to do it like Shavkat did it. But give me Chaos Williams by TKO. And I want to see him win. I really liked him, dude. Like the way he was staring down Abdul Hassan. That was just insane. You're like, oh my God, this guy's insane. Whatever the case is, give me Chaos Williams. Give me Chaos Williams by TKO. And on to the main event of the evening. It got edited out, but I had last week's side in there. Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. Jesus Christ, Gomi, what are you on today? It's going to be a featherweight matchup between Edson Barboza, 38 years of age, 24 wins, 11 losses, 14 knockouts, 1 submission, 5'11 in terms of height, orthodox stance, 75-inch reach advantage, a 0.48 takedown average, a 46.02% significant strike accuracy, plus 125 underdog. He has significant wins over Sadiq Youssef, Billy Quarantillo, Shane Burgos, and Dan Hooker. Lerone Murphy is going to be, I just want to say Leroy Jenkins. 32 years of age, 13 wins, not a damn loss, 17 knockouts, not a damn submission, 5'9 in terms of height, orthodox stance, 73.5-inch reach disadvantage, a 1.29 takedown average, a 57.37% significant strike accuracy, minus 150 favorite. Significant wins over Josh Culibao and Gabriel Santos. I'm not going to be on the wrong side of an old fighter turning back the clock. I did that in Edson Barboza's last fight, though that was still USADA time. But this time, I'm going to be picking Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza, I don't think is as good as he used to be honest with you. He's definitely aged, but the fact that he beat Sadiq Youssef, he survived. He got 10-8, almost 10-7 by Sadiq Youssef. It was insane. And then he survived. He came back and he beat the living shite out of Sadiq Youssef, which tells me he still got some gas left in the tank. I don't know if he's going to get anywhere up to like a title shot or anything like that. I really at one point wanted to see him versus Holloway. That'd be a massacre at this point now, considering Edson Barboza got mastered by Gaethje, and we saw what Holloway just did to Gaethje. Level up Gaethje compared to when Barboza fought him too. But I think Lerone Murphy, I think he could beat him. I'm not impressed by Lerone Murphy. I'm really not. This man, his only finish, the only time he like really looked good and knocked someone out was against Makwan Amirkhani, who quits. He always quits. Beyond that, I think he has one more finish in the UFC, and it's just like, I don't think he's that good. He's been around since 2019, and he just has never really impressed me. His activity is not very good. I think he's a good fighter. Under normal circumstances, I lean towards him, but I think Barboza's got the better striking. I still don't know how I feel. Even though Barboza's been at featherweight for like years now, I still don't know how I like him at featherweight, man. I still feel like he might be cutting too much weight at featherweight. But regardless, his striking's still crispy. He still has those beautiful body work. That he just hates your body. He hates your body. Whether it be just normal punches, whether it be spinning back kicks, it doesn't matter. He is absolutely vicious to your body. I think he can take out Lerone Murphy. I'm gonna be leaning towards Edson Barboza to get it done. I'm gonna be picking decision though, because I think a lot of his finishing ability is gone. And Lerone Murphy, I think, can steal the first couple rounds, but Barboza can come back because he proved to have really improved cardio. Compared to back in the day, that was his major issue. He'd always just gas out. So, I don't know. I think I would like to see another Dan Hooker-esque beating, because that was such a good fight. Well, such a good beatdown. But I don't know. Regardless, give me Edson Barboza to win in probably the most fight night apex main event you could possibly think of. Barboza versus Murphy. Once again, it's been your boy Gomi covering over UFC Vegas 92. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. And oh boy, I heard Dana White talk about moving away from the Apex. Please let it end. Let the Apex end. I would love it. At least have one Apex a month. Otherwise, one place travel, one place pay-per-view, one Apex fight night a month. That's it. Regardless, this has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.